Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Nature in Your Classroom Fall Changes YouTube live stream. We will be starting very shortly in 3, 2, and 1.
Hello, everybody. I am so excited to be joining you in your classrooms or in your homes through the screen virtually on our Nature in Your Classroom live stream, where we will talk about all the changes that living things are doing in the fall. My name is Raya. Some people call me Raya Papaya, but you're only allowed to call me Raya Papaya if you are 10 years old or less. And I am a teacher with Toronto and Region Conservation Authority. Here's our little logo right here. And so the Toronto and Region Conservation Authority, TRCA, I'm a teacher, but I don't teach in a school. Instead, I teach outside. Are there any walls around me? I don't think so. Now, we have helpers today. So Jasmine, if you can say hello, that'd be great.
Hello, everyone. So excited to be here with you this afternoon.
Jasmine is helping on the back end, and we also have a few other people helping on the back end with questions. So if you have any questions, then they can be put in the chat by your teacher, and some of the people on the back end, some of the helpers will answer them in the chat, and we'll have time at the very end so I can answer a whole bunch of questions as well. So like I said, I'm a teacher. Usually we do Watershed on Wheels programs, which means we come into schools and do nature education, but we can't do that right now. So we are reaching you from the outside through your screens. Now, there is also a worksheet. If you don't have the worksheet, that's okay. But if you are a teacher and you're thinking, oh, I didn't know there was a worksheet, there is a link that will go into the chat right now for how you can register for it. And there's also a link in the description. And so you're welcome to register for that. I don't know if Jasmine's already posted a picture of the worksheet, but there it is. And if you don't have it, that's okay too. So I think that I've covered all that stuff, and it might be time to get exploring. My friends, what season is it? What season is it right now? It's not summer anymore. It's not spring. It's not winter yet. It is the fall. And in the fall, there are some really cool changes that animals and plants and other living things do. So I'm going to have all of us start off by looking up. We're going to look way up. And what do we see? Oh my goodness. Look at that tree. Well, that tree didn't look like that in the summer. What is different about it? So if you're thinking, Raya Papaya, that tree looks different because it has orange leaves, then you are right. Yes, my friends, it has orange leaves. So the leaves changed color. We'll talk a bit about how that color change happens, but I wanted to show you one of the leaves up close. I'm just looking at the ground here for a good example. There are so many. Check out this beautiful leaf up close. Look at all those colors. It's not going into focus, Raya. What's happening? There we go. So these leaves with their gorgeous fall colors are worth considering. Now, what is going to happen next? These leaves, they've changed color, or we've seen a different color in them. Next is that when they're ready, they will fall to the ground. And my friends, I love to move around, and I bet you do too. So we are going to do some movement. I'm going to ask you to stand up out of your seats, and I'm going to angle my device here so that you can see me. So everybody stand up out of your seat, and you're going to stretch your arms up. You're going to imagine that you are a tree, and your arms are your branches, and your hands are the leaves. So we're all out of our seats. We're stretching up super high, and oh, it's windy, so we're waving our branches around in the wind. Nice stretching. And oh, it's raining because in the fall we get a lot of wonderful rain, and we're happy about the rain, so we're smiling as it's raining on us. And then, my friends, our leaves start to change color because the nights get longer. And when the nights get longer and there's less daylight, then the tree signals to the leaves, okay, it's time to lose your green and show off your other colors. And so let's just wiggle our wrists around to imagine that this is our leaves changing color. It's We're wiggling our wrists around. Our leaves are changing color. And we said, what happens next? The tree sends a signal to the leaves that it's time to drop off. And down come the leaves right to the ground. Oh my goodness. Good job, everybody. Wonderful trees. Yay. All right, after you do a little wiggle, have a seat again. We're all sitting down back in our chairs. I'm going to come back and I want to talk a little bit about why these leaves fall to the ground that we saw up there. And we can see all these leaves. I'm going to fix my phone there. We see all these leaves on the ground, but there are some trees that actually don't lose their leaves every year. So we're going to walk together to some of these special trees that keep their leaves in the fall. And maybe you're looking at this tree in front of me thinking, oh, I bet that's one of them because it's still very, very green. Now, Raya papaya is not super tall and will probably have to jump. Are you ready for Raya's jumping? Whew. Got it. So let's have a close look at these leaves. These leaves, they kind of look even a little bit shiny. They have a bit of a waxy coating. So these leaves don't lose their water as much. There is water in all leaves, and the leaves we just saw have water in them. These leaves have water in them, but with the waxy coating, the water doesn't come out. With the leaves on the maple tree that we saw, there's water inside, and in the winter, that water, if it gets so cold that it freezes, well, the leaf actually breaks, and that can hurt the tree. So the tree instead tells the leaf, nope, we're going to actually change. We're going to take the green out, and then you're going to fall to the ground. And these other leaves, they get to stay on the tree because the water inside the leaf doesn't freeze. There's a special liquid in there that keeps it from freezing. So that tree that I just showed you is called a cedar, an eastern white cedar tree. I don't know if you can see it from the angle now. There we go, with those lovely cedar leaves. Another tree that keeps its leaves is this one here. I'm trying to get to a branch I can reach. Oh my goodness. Come on, Raya. Let's go around this way. Little jump, and I reached. So let's have a close look at these needles. These leaves, which we call needles also, they have a bit of that waxy coating as well. So this tree stays green all winter long. This one is called a pine tree. It has long needles. Oops. There we go. And that is called a pine tree. This is a white pine, actually. Now, the cedar and the pine, they make cones, my friends. They make little tiny cones for the cedar and bigger cones for the pine. I don't see any here because I think they've all been eaten by the squirrels. But the cones mean that we can call those trees coniferous. Everybody repeat after me. Coniferous on 3. 1, 2, 3. Coniferous. And coniferous trees do not lose their leaves, mostly. The deciduous trees, like this one, everybody say, repeat after me. Deciduous. 1, 2, 3. Deciduous. These ones will drop their leaves in the fall. Okay, so we've had a great time exploring these trees. Oh, I'm going to get you into the sun again for a sec. There we go. Can I find myself? There I am. And now I want to explore underground. So we've talked about trees. Oh, we forgot to talk about a couple. You know what? We said we gave the names of the cedar tree and we gave the names of the pine tree. I don't know if I said the name of this one. You remember the name of this one? That's the maple leaf. It's a maple tree. And if you're using the worksheet, I believe the one on your worksheet is called a silver maple. They're a little bit more, they have thinner lobes, maybe like this. And then there's another deciduous tree called an oak tree. And maybe Jasmine, can you show the picture of the oak leaf? So those are oak leaves. And think to yourself, they change color. Do they fall off the tree? Yes, they do fall off the tree. Those are deciduous. Okay, so I wanted to make sure that if you are doing the worksheet, that we make sure we tell you everything about what's on the worksheet. Now, we're going to explore underground. So trees, what part of the tree is underground? The roots, yes. So the roots are deep underground. And there's a connection between tree roots and something else that lives underground. It's so exciting. I'm going to show you some examples here. My friends, check this out. Isn't that gorgeous? So this is fungus. Everybody say fungus on 3. 1, 2, 3. Fungus! And these are one type of fungus. There are other types of fungus. Look at that beautiful color. And this type of fungus is maybe what you're more used to seeing, this mushroom kind of fungus, right? So it's got a cap, it's got a stem, and checking out underneath, it's got these cool ridges. And, well, Raya, you're showing us things above ground. What is going on? You said we're talking about what's underground. Well, my friends, the fungus has a big underground story. I have a model here. It's kind of a diagram or a diorama. And let's get my angle right. And we can see, is it in focus? That there is an above ground fungus or mushroom. Oh, my phone doesn't like to focus sometimes. It's really frustrating. Sorry, guys. So we have this above ground mushroom, and underneath the ground, there are mycorrhizae. And I want all of you, again, we're going to do a lot of repeating after Raya. Repeat after me, mycorrhizae on 3. 1, 2, 3. Mycorrhizae. These are teeny tiny, long strands that fill up a whole lot of space. Here it only looks like they fill a little bit. They actually fill up a whole lot. Jasmine, can you show that picture of the mycorrhizae? Oh, wonderful. So, ladies and gentlemen, looking at that picture, we can see that there is so much happening underground, and all those mycorrhizae are a living thing, and they are really important for healthy soil, and really important for decomposing all kinds of things that fall onto the soil, like branches and animals that don't live anymore, that die. So the mycorrhizae are really important. And my friends, Jasmine, if you haven't, you can come back to me. My friends, what happens is in the fall, when there's been a lot of rain, then the mycorrhizae say, we want to make more of ourselves. And they pop up little mushrooms. And the mushrooms are the way that they can make more of themselves. So everybody, out of your seats again. Out of your seats. This time you're going to crouch down, low to the ground, because we're kind of getting our minds into being underground. We're not going to dig underground right now, but we're going to crouch down and we're going to pretend that we are all mycorrhizae. So we're underneath the ground, we're growing under the ground. We have all these long, thin parts of ourselves growing. Little chipmunk just ran past. Cool. So we're growing underground and it's starting to rain. We've had a beautiful fall rain, and that's a signal for us to suddenly, get ready, pop out of the ground. Little mushrooms popping out of the ground. Oh, so good. Let's come do that again. So we're crouching down. We're underneath the ground. We're mycorrhizae under the ground. We're a fungus, wonderful, beautiful fungus. And there's been a wonderful rainfall, which is a good signal that it's time for us to make more of ourselves. And we produce something called spores. They're kind of like seeds, but a little bit different. So we produce something called spores, which is the way that we can make more of ourselves. So to do that, we have to have mushrooms pop out of the ground. Ready? We're going to pop on 3. 1, 2, 3. Pop! Everybody popping out of the ground like a mushroom out of the ground. Nicely done, my mushroom friends, my fungus friends. Whew. All right. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. We can shake our spores off. Whew. And get back into your seats, everybody. Let's check out some more mushroom fun. Actually, let me get this pointed at my face again. Hi. I have a really, really cool mushroom I want to share with you. I was so excited when I got here this morning and I saw this mushroom. We're a little late in looking for mushrooms. Usually in late September or like early October is when we find the most different types of mushrooms. But the mushrooms that are still around are really getting into releasing their spores right now. And there's one called a puffball. It's so cool. When it's a few weeks ago, puffballs would have been white. Like they look like a big volleyball actually. And they just sit on the ground. And then when they get older, they turn brown. So I'm going to show you this beautiful puffball on the ground here. Look how big it is. I could grab it just like a volleyball. That is a puffball mushroom. And if you see, it's kind of powdery. Those are all the spores. So this one, even this morning, it was more closed and it's opened up. And when it opens up more and more, then the spores can come out. There's another one nearby that is quite open. So we will walk over to the other puffball mushroom. Oh my gosh. I've seen some that are really tiny too, but these ones are massive. And because I want to show you something cool about these spores, I'm actually going to put my mask on. So I'm not really worried about the spores, but if I can help it, I try not to breathe too many of them in, just in case. I want to be safe. I'm going to put my mask on. And let's puff this puffball. Here we go. Dun, da, da, da. Watch what happens when I get the spores into the air. Ready? Now, usually, I don't like to hit nature with a stick. I don't want to hurt nature, but in this case, it's actually helping the puffball mushroom because the mushroom wants all these little dusty bits. They're all spores. They want the spores to spread in the wind so they can make more of themselves. Isn't that wild? Whew. Whew. And off they go, spreading so we can get more puffballs next year. I just love it. Oh my goodness. Now, we've had a look at a couple of mushrooms that we have here. My friends, I took some pictures a few weeks ago when I was in the woods. And I want to share these pictures with you because there are so many different types of mushrooms. So this one, it's actually the same mushroom on the left and on the right. It's called a shaggy mane or a shaggy ink cap mushroom. So it looks like the left picture first where it's long and closed, and then it kind of curls up to the top and they have the black rim, and that's what it looks like later on. And oh, I love these little mushrooms on the trail. After it rains, the mushrooms just pop out of the ground and they're awesome. This one, it's important when you're looking at mushrooms to look at them from above ground and from below ground. And so, or not below ground, but below the top. So this is a view from underneath. And the same mushroom, if you look at it from the top, that's the same mushroom. They look totally different. It looks like popcorn. God, that didn't pop all the way. So, oh my goodness. This is a hard, like a really solid mushroom growing off a tree. And if you were to knock it, it would actually be really solid and you'd almost hear like the sound of knocking on a door. This one looks like coral reefs to me, or reefs in the ocean. And I just love it. Oh, this is a good reminder. So this is a beautiful mushroom. But my friends, mushrooms, we kind of just want to be careful with them, just like we want to be careful with anything in nature, that we don't eat it without knowing exactly what it is. So there are lots of different types of mushrooms. And these mushrooms, especially with these bright colors, that's like a warning saying, don't eat me because I could make you very, very sick. So I love looking at mushrooms to learn about them and taking pictures, but I try not to eat them because I don't know my mushrooms well enough. It could make me sick. And this is our last picture of the mushroom. I just wanted to show you at the bottom, you can see we're starting to see the mycorrhiza. I never usually see that above ground, but we're seeing the mycorrhiza, those thin, hairy parts of the mushroom, of the fungus, as it gets underground. Okay, now you might be wondering, Raya, you're showing us a bench with some sunflower seeds on it. And it's true. We have talked about plants in the fall. We've talked about mushrooms popping out in the fall. What we haven't talked about yet are animals. And here is a chickadee who is coming. Oh, it's a little scared of me talking so loud. So the chickadees, we put out bird feed in the winter sometimes for these birds that stay here in the winter. And they're grabbing a sunflower seed and taking it back to a hidey hole, tucking the seed away for later to eat. They like to hide their seeds so they can find them later when it's harder to find seeds. Hello, chickadee. Think it's going to come closer? I'm going to readjust and we'll see if I can be very quiet and have the chickadee come. Now, my friends, in the fall, animals start to get ready for the winter. And these animals can make different decisions for how they're going to get ready in the winter. Oh, I think there's another chickadee coming. There we go. Oh, and there's a nuthatch. This is a different kind of bird called a nuthatch. Let's see if it comes close. Oh my goodness, there's so much fun. So animals decide, do I want to stay active in the winter and try to figure out ways to stay warm? Do I want to go to sleep for the winter? Do I want to leave for the winter? So we're going to talk about some things that different animals do. The chickadees we just saw, well, they're a type of bird that stays active in the winter. And that means that they don't fly away from Ontario. They don't go to sleep for the winter. They keep flying around. Here's my little stuffed chickadee. So they keep flying around and looking for food, and they find little hiding places, in tree cavities and holes in trees so that they can stay active. So my friends, I'm going to ask you to make the chickadee call with me. There's actually 2 calls. We'll do them both. The first call is the call a chickadee makes when it is trying to warn other chickadees of danger. And this call goes like this. Chickadee-dee-dee, chickadee-dee-dee. Now it's your turn. Everybody go together with me. Chickadee-dee-dee, chickadee-dee-dee, chickadee-dee-dee. The other call, and we'll cut in case you're still chickadeeing, listening again. So the other call is a call that they make when they're trying to find friends. And this one sounds kind of like this. It sounds like they're saying, hey, sweetie, hey, sweetie. I'm going to ask all of you to hey, sweetie with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hey, sweetie, hey, sweetie, hey, sweetie. And cut. Good job. You know what? I saw some chickadees coming close when they heard you, hey, sweetie. They're like, oh, more friends. So chickadees have different types of sounds, and they stay active in the winter. So another animal that stays active in the winter is, maybe you've seen them running up and down trees, is the squirrel. Jasmine, you can pull up the picture of a squirrel to remind us how these beautiful creatures look. I'm going to put my phone down. And squirrels, I thought I had one in my pocket. There it is. What they are trying to do in the winter is get ready or in the fall, is get ready for the winter. Sorry, so before the winter, they're trying to get ready for the winter. So in the fall, they are gathering all kinds of nuts and seeds, and they are storing them away so they can find them in the winter. So I'm going to show you this one here is a nut. Well, actually, it's just the shell of the nut because the squirrels have eaten the inside. You can see their teeth marks. So they've eaten in there, they've gotten the nut out, and that is our lovely evidence of a squirrel getting nuts for the winter. I want all of you again to get out of your seats. We're going to imagine that we are squirrels. So out of your seats, and you're growing your long squirrel nail that helps them climb, and you're growing your strong squirrel teeth. And my friends, everybody, squirrels have bushy tails. So I want all you to shake your bushy tail. Shake, shake, shake your bushy tail. Shake your bushy tail. Excellent shaking. Okay. It's time to look for nuts. You're going to stay in your area, in your classroom. So you're not going to run around the classroom. But you're going to get up and you'll be in your area. And you're going to run. And maybe you found a seed and you have it in your mouth. And so you got the seed in your mouth and you're run. And you're looking for a hole to dig it in. You have to make a hole. So you're dig. And pop the seed into the hole, nut into the hole. Cover it up. And let's go find more. You're going to run. And you found a seed. Got the seed in your mouth. And you run. And you have to dig another hole and pop that seed or that nut into the ground and cover up that hole. And you're a tired little squirrel. So the next thing you have to do is climb up a tree, go into your nest, and take a nice long nap. Good job, everybody. Back into your seats, my friends. Everybody back to your seats. My squirrel friends. All right. I'm going to show you kind of what it might look like if you were a squirrel climbing up a tree. Let's see. Here's a good tree I can show you on. Turn my camera around. Get the sun in the background. So if you were a squirrel, you were looking for your nest, you might climb up this tree and find some good branches near the top, away from predators, away from animals that might want to eat you. And you bring up some leaves and some sticks and you make a nest way, way up there. And your squirrel nest, my friends, is called a dray. Everybody say dray. 1, 2, 3. Dray. And Jasmine, can you show a picture of what drays can look like? There we go. There are 3 drays in that tree. Drays are squirrel's nests, and there are 3 of them. So that means 3 squirrel families in that one tree. So squirrels, while they do sleep in the winter, they just take naps. They don't sleep the whole time. So they're still active in the winter. Another animal that's active in the winter is a deer. They are active in the winter. And yeah, there are foxes are active in the winter. So there are quite a few different animals that will stick around, and they'll just be like, you know what, we know it's cold, but we can handle it. Now, something else that animals might do in the winter is fly to a warmer place. They say, we don't want to have to deal, oops, the phone's angling funny, there we go. They say, we don't want to have to deal with the cold winter here, so we're going to fly to another place entirely. And what is that called? It starts with the letter M, and it rhymes with the word migrate. If you said migrate, you've got it. So they migrate to a warmer place. A lot of birds do this. We talked about the chickadee. The chickadee stays here and is active, but there are so many different types of birds like the Canada goose. The Canada goose will migrate to another spot. And Jasmine, maybe do you have a picture of the Canada goose up there already? I think you probably do. So I'm going to set myself up. We're going to do another action, like another moving one. I think we're good. Okay. So, my friends, we are going to be Canada geese. And this time we're migrating. We're not going to stay active in the winter here. We're going to migrate and be active somewhere else. And you are going to stretch out your Canada goose wings, practice flapping them to get them warmed up. And as we are flying, we're flying really, really far. Stay in your spot in the room. Don't move to another spot. Stay in your spot. But we're flying really, really far. And we're getting tired. And so we need to take a break. We need to take a rest, maybe get some water. We're going to land, take a little rest, drink some water, maybe find some food to eat. And then we're going to get up and fly again. And we're flying, and oh, it's windy. And it's raining, but we're flying all through the wind and the rain. And my friends, we have reached down south. We're going to land, and we're going to drink some more and eat some more and rest down south where it is warm all winter long. So good job migrating, everybody. Wonderful work. You can have a seat again. Go back to your seats, okay? Let's see. A lot of birds migrate. Oh, you know who else migrates? There is an insect. Jasmine, you can show the picture. We'll see if they can guess. There's an insect that migrates all the way to Mexico from Ontario. And this migrating insect is, you know what it's called? Some of you know. It's called a monarch butterfly. So they fly all the way down to Mexico. It's just amazing that they can do that. They're so light, and it's a long, long, long flight. Okay, we've talked about animals who are active in the winter. We've talked about animals who migrate in the winter. Some animals don't stay active in the winter in Ontario, and they don't migrate in the winter. Instead, they go for really long sleeps for the whole winter long. What's that called? It starts with the letter H. Some of you know it. Yes, I even heard it from your classrooms. Hibernate. They hibernate in the winter. And one of the examples of an animal who hibernates in the winter, I'm going to show you in a moment. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. This animal's a little shy. I'm just getting them ready. I'm going to turn my screen around a bit. Check it out. Oh, hello. Who is this guy? So this is a turtle. And turtles will hibernate in places like wetlands and lakes. And look what we have here. We have a beautiful, huge lake. So turtles, they make their way to the water's edge. And when they get to the water's edge, he's nodding. Yep, that's correct. Then they get to the water's edge, they'll go into the water and they'll go right down into the muck down below. They'll find a good spot where they can burrow down in some soft mud. And they will be so cozy in that mud, and they'll stay there all winter long, making themselves nice and cozy. And that way they are protected from predators. And when they wake up in the spring, then they can come back out again and continue their lives looking for food and and being sweet little turtles. There's another animal who likes to crawl into the muck and hibernate in lakes like this one. Oh, hey phone, what are you doing? It just went on a funny angle. There we go. This other animal, maybe you can imagine what animal it is. It's an amphibian, if you know that word. This animal is a frog. So frogs will also, and this is a pretend frog, so I can lift it up. Frogs will also go into the lake, into the water, and they will find a spot in the mud. And I can't bury this guy because I can't reach, but they'll find a spot in the mud, right in there, underneath the mud, so you don't even see them. And they hibernate there all winter long. And my friends, you know how much I love to move around. So we are going to do one last movement. We are going to imagine that we are frogs. Get this phone up. And you're going to show me your very best frog hop. All right? So get your frog brain on and your frog feet on, and everybody hop nice and big up into the air like a big frog. Woo! Nice movement. Good job, my friends. Good hopping. Woo. One last little hop, and you can go back to your seats and take a deep breath. Now, I've been chatting for a long time. You've been very patient as you've been listening, because I'm sure that you have a lot of questions for me. At this time, we are going to take some time to answer as many questions as we can. But, and a reminder that your teachers can put questions into the chat if you're able to get onto YouTube. If you do need to go, then we want to thank you so much for joining us today. It has been a blast exploring all these fall changes. Thank you for letting me share my excitement about leaves and fungus and animals. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Actually, our next session is for grade 4s and 5s, but you're welcome to join as well. It's November 24th, and it is about wildlife in the city, urban wildlife. So tell your teacher friends, if you have brothers and sisters, you can tell them to tune in at the end of November. But for now, let's get to questions, if there are any questions in the chat. Jasmine.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Raya. I learned so much about this season and all of the different things that are happening right now. And I have a question for you, and my question is a why question. So you talked a lot about the fall and the leaves in the fall and all the different colors that they're turning. What I want to know is why? Why do leaves change color in the fall?
Oh my gosh, that is such a good question. I wonder if I have a leaf here. I do. I have some leaves here I can show you with. So a lot of people don't know this, but leaves, even when they look green, here we go, even when they look green, kind of like this one, then if it's a leaf that looks yellow in the fall, it actually has the yellow color in it as well. So all summer long, let's say like a birch tree, it's a tree with white bark, their leaves turn yellow in the fall, but they don't really turn yellow. They actually are yellow all along. It's just that they are also green. What? That doesn't make sense. So in the leaves and in blueberries and in strawberries and in carrots, there are things called pigments, and the pigments give things their color. So when we see a leaf is green, it's got green pigments, and it has so many of them that any other pigments in there are kind of hidden below the green. So a birch leaf would have green and yellow pigments in the summer, but it's only in the fall when there's less sun that the tree tells the leaf, okay, we're going to stop making green. Stop the presses, my friends. We're going to stop making green pigments. And then the yellow is like, oh, finally, I get to show off my beautiful yellow pigments. And the yellow shines through. So that's the case for some of the leaves that turn yellow this time of year. Here we have a yellow turning. It was yellow all along, my friends. The leaves that turn red, now in that case, it's a little bit different because in the summer, they don't have that red inside them. It's in the fall when the pigment, the leaf is like, oh my gosh, it's so sunny and bright. We're having beautiful sunny, bright days. And oh, those green pigments, they actually help the leaf make sugars. And in the fall is when the leaf is like, it's sunny and bright. We have lots of sugars in the leaves. We're going to remove the green and we're going to start making red pigments. So there are lots of signals that help the leaves to change color. And gosh, I could talk for a whole hour about this, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it at that. It's really, really fascinating. It's so interesting how leaves change color. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. It looks like we have one more question for you today, Raya. And that question is, you talked about so many different animals today, the deer and the squirrel and the monarch butterfly. I want to know, what is your favorite animal that lives here in the GTA?
This year in the GTA, my favorite animal. Oh, let me think about that one for just a moment. You know, I'll have to admit that turtles have a special place in my heart. Turtles are, they're animals that have a really tricky time. So they often will have to cross a road to get to a spot to lay their eggs. And sometimes people think they're rocks and they just drive over them. They don't realize that it's a turtle, or people are going so fast and the turtle can't get away so quickly. And turtles live a very long time before they can even lay eggs. So they have to survive for a long time before it's egg laying time in their life. So they're kind of at risk. Like some of them are endangered and things like that. And I just think that turtles are such special animals. They're so sweet and so lovely and really interesting that they're one of my favorites for sure.
That makes a lot of sense to me. All right, I think that's all the questions we have for today. If you wanted to say goodbye to everyone.
Yes, excellent. Okay, so my friends, I have had such a fun time exploring with you, and I encourage you to get outside when you can. And even if you're not outside, you can look through the windows. My challenge to you is see how many drays you can find on your next walk or your next look out the window outside. See how many of those squirrel nests you can find in the trees. Okay? So good luck, everybody. Get outside. Maybe we'll see you again on another live stream. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Bye.